Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another awesome video. And obviously, you've already read the title of this. This is in regards to a question that Mike P left on one of my videos quite a while ago. May have been as much of a year. Sorry, Mike. I've just had a lot going on. Don't know why it took me so long to get around to making this. But basically, the question is, do I feel that modern rock music is boring and repetitive or repetitive? I hate to give you this answer, but the answer is yes, absolutely, and no, not at all. Right? Let me explain why. In the underground, or basically music that's not in the mass public consciousness, um, I think rock is still fairly vibrant as an art form. It's not dead, and still just as much variety and movements going on, really, I think, as much as any time in the past. Now, that being said, that's not what most people are aware of. Most people are obviously aware of what's on the radio and, popular on YouTube and all that kind of crap, right? That's what people are really aware of. So, is that stuff repetitive and boring? Well, in that case, I would say uh, you could make a much stronger case that it is. I would say 80% yes, maybe 20% no. And what I mean by that is basically there are some bright spots in music that is in the mass consciousness, but rock music that's in the mass consciousness. But I'll admit there are far and few between. Obviously, one band that now these bands I'm about to talk about in a positive light wear their influences on their sleeves, but they still are, in my opinion, somewhat innovative and bring something new to the formulas that they're kind of inspired by, for lack of a better term, right? I think one of the biggest bright spots in popular rock music right now is Ghost. Um, obviously they're trying to sound like a 70s horror cult band, but they do enough new things to where it's interesting what they're doing. I enjoy their music quite a bit. Of course, I'm going to praise Volbeat again because, I think they've been popular for maybe about 5 years or so at this point. They're not really new anymore, but they're still fresh enough and different enough to where they're, in my opinion, really pleasant to listen to and they're enjoyable. So there are probably a few others that I'm missing, but those are the two bands that immediately leap to mind as far as popular rock acts that I think kind of at least somewhat deserve their spot as popular rock acts, right? For the most part, newer popular rock acts, I'm not a big fan of them. Um, there's a lot of the new popular rock acts basically sound like they're only very barely related to rock and roll. And by that, I mean a lot of them sound like just electronic music. They don't even sound like real rock and roll anymore. There's tons of electronic I don't know who these bands are. I just know I hear them on the radio all the time, and I'm super unimpressed with them because it doesn't even really sound like rock and roll. It just sounds like loud pop music at this point because it's just totally electronic and it's homogenized and it's just, in my opinion, pretty much sounds like crap. 21 Pilots is a good example of this. Don't care for them at all, but they're pretty popular and get a lot of play in stuff of that ilk. Just not my cup of tea, but whatever. And there are a million bands right now that now they don't sound exactly like that, but they have that electronic element in it, and it's just not good. And to me, probably the biggest sign of rock and roll stagnation right now, at least popular rock, is Greta Van Fleet, of course. And the reason I'm picking on them is they sound way too much like Led Zeppelin. If somebody had told me, hey, here's some demos of Led Zeppelin that you've never heard, and they were Greta Van Fleet songs, I'd believe them, right? That's how much like Led Zeppelin they sound. Now, I don't have any problem whatsoever if you are a band influenced by 70s hard rock. That's cool because, let's face it, there's been a lot of really awesome music that's come out over the decades that's influenced by that. But to basically have a sound that's exactly the same as, some could argue, well, probably the second most famous rock and roll band ever. Kind of stupid. And I'm honestly surprised I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they're getting the attention they're getting. But I can say if Greta Van Fleet and the electronic music that I was talking about, if that stuff represents the future of rock and roll, do rock and roll a favor. Take it out back, shoot it in the head, and bury it in the backyard. That's just my opinion. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree, disagree with any of this. As always, if you like this, thumbs up. If you hate me, thumbs down. Share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time.